year. Hundreds of Fortnite duos have been competing for the chance to stand here on this stage in Copenhagen. And now just 50 remain in the running to lift the trophy, to own the Axe of Champions and call themselves the best Fortnite players in the world. Copenhagen, are you ready to see history made? You have been the most incredible audience all weekend, and I know you can't wait to give these players your all. So, for the final time this year, please, Copenhagen, please welcome your players!
The mates, Stacey and Podesai, are here. With help from their supporters, they are ready to take on the competition. Viva la France!
Let's give Grolls and Klowski a warm welcome. This duo has worked hard to get this far. It is time for them to begin aiming for nothing but the top.
Give it up for Cooper and Miro. This duo have shown they belong on the big stage. Will they be able to break through and hoist that trophy?
Yumi, Source, they're here. These two mean business with great performances. They have secured their spot here at the grand finals, but it is time to lock in.
Let's welcome Janice and Reason. The German powerhouse team is here to show what they got. This is time to prove it to the world.
Let's hear it for the Brazilian duo, Nutty and Garcera, with a great performance in the lower bracket. They are ready to represent Brazil. It's go time.
Datus and Stain, ladies and gentlemen. These guys got the skill to perform on the big stage. It's time to bring the Brazilian flair to the finals.
Let's welcome Bryce and Chubbs. You guys showed us how it's done. If you can keep up the good work, the sky is the limit. What a day yesterday.
Batman, Booga, and Rapid have arrived. These two have shown that they belong with a great performance yesterday, but it's time to do it again.
And now, Steno and Lucy. The Danish Dynamite is here. They're at the home turf. Let's hear what you got for them, Copenhagen. That was just the first 10 duos we've seen compete here today. And I got to call them out right away. Janice and Reason, a duo that you heard Copenhagen go absolutely wild for. I want to talk about the expectations we have for the duo on the day.
Yeah, if you ain't familiar, if you ain't been round here before, let me introduce you to Janice and Reason. These guys are OGs. They've been here. They've been at the top. They've been to the mountaintop. They've seen it all. They've done it all. They've won it all. And they're going to look to try to do that again. They came so close in Major 1. Major 1 Grand Finals in the EU, they led the way after day one, and it looked like a spot in Globals was there for them. But they didn't quite do it, and it took them all the way until Last Chance Major to finally do it. And I know they won't wait late again. They're going to come in early and try and do their thing as best as possible.
But that's what being a global champion is all about. Performing in the clutch. It is a tall task for them today. As we showed that little drop map earlier, right, where we were expecting a lot of the early game action to show, and there was a red area. That means there are 3 teams up there, and unfortunately for Janice and Reason, they are one of them.
That's right. That's just the first 10. I want to meet the next 10, so let's just jump right into it.
Give it up for Merstash and Tayson, one of the best duos to ever do it. Now now, it's their chance to show to the world they can do it again.
And here we have Pixie and Cheatin. This duo has showed us that they have what it takes to perform at the highest levels. And now the trophy, it's so close.
Give it up for Baila and Peterbot, two of the most dominant players on NA. With a championship already under their belt, they're looking to perform that here once more.
Let's welcome Crisp and Noxie. These guys have showed great consistency for a long time. Let's keep it going because guess what? It's showtime.
Kitos and P8 Sin, the Brazilian champs are here. They know the feeling of winning. Can they do it again? We know the Brazilians are cheering you on.
And now, we go in pink. They have accumulated momentum all weekend long, and now it's time to give it your all. Good luck.
Coming all the way from NA, let's give it up for Quanti and TK. They have showcased amazing skill for a long time. They are here for the finals, and that trophy is waiting.
But wait, we have Blaha and Mixon, the Polish duo. Let's make some noise. It's time to crown some new Polish champ potentially. Let's bring on the heat.
Stand up and get loud for Roman and X-Force. Making sure they only needed the upper bracket to qualify to the grand finals. Can they keep up the momentum?
Now let's hear it for Booga and Threats. These guys aren't playing around and do not plan on leaving empty-handed tonight, but will the trophy go home with NA?
With every 10, it's starting to get more real and real. The duel we wanted to highlight here was, of course, your World Cup champion, Booga. You know we had to talk about it. Vivid, imagine the World Cup title and then slap a global championship title on that. That would be crazy.
What a career Booga has had, teaming up with Threats for this year, coming in major number 2, a 5th place, closing out major number 3 with a 2nd place. Not to mention Booga himself has 3 FNCS titles. I mean, what can't he do?
One of the GOATs of this game. And I personally, as a fan, just want to see him lift a trophy on a major stage again.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
I'm hoping, man. Of course, we've got more duos to introduce. Let's get the next 10.
This is Acorn and Cold with a dominating performance in the upper bracket. These guys are here and they're looking to take home that trophy.
Now let's make some noise for Peppo, Clip, and Zagu. Representing for Asia, they are ready to fight for the trophy. It's time to bring your A game.
Representing the Middle East, Mshari and Rue might be the only team from their region, but that doesn't stop them from winning. These guys will do whatever it takes to succeed.
From NA, we have Thoric and Bolts providing, proving that they can take home FNCS wins. They have championships under their belt, but can they do it one more time?
Misha and Teeny, ladies and gentlemen, do not feel safe regardless of where you drop on the map when these guys are in the lobby. They are here, and they are here to win.
Here we have iDrop and Mappy, the Scandinavian duels now ready to bring the trophy home after qualifying hot out of day one. Let's go.
Make some noise for Crybaby Flixie. Slowly been climbing the ranks for seasons. Now is their chance to make it big and solidify themselves among the best.
But wait, Fastrokey, Kylie, they have landed. They are here, dropping right in from the upper bracket into the grand finals. They are making an impact on the leaderboards.
A big round of applause for Muds and Paper. These guys are used to being high up on the leaderboards, and they only needed day one to make it here. Now it's time to finish the job.
All right, give it up for Mr. Savage and Badil, making the lower bracket look easy. It's exciting to see if they can do it again here for the grand finals.
One step closer to games beginning. Mr. Savage and Badil, you know we got to talk about these guys. They ended first place after yesterday's lower bracket. First place from the last chance major. They have something to prove, and they're here to show it.
Talk about clutching up when it matters. I mean, I've talked about it multiple times. It's just a duo that makes sense. They're so smart. Mr. Savage has so much experience, especially on the big stage. More than 10 in-person event appearances, and then Badil teamed up with him. The mechanical prowess, it's all there.
Savage has played on stages like this as much as anybody else in the world of Fortnite. He will know. But Badil, he's been the one in crunch time this year that has really put the performances in to seal the deal. And even though there'll be pressure on him, Badil will be ready.
I'm ready. For more duos, let's get the next 10 in here.
Let's get a big warm welcome for Yopso and Rise. Consistency is key here, and they proved it all year long. Now is the time to finish what they started.
Let's hear it now for Alex and Worthy. As the only OCE team in the lobby tonight, this is their chance, and the pressure is on to take home the LAN title.
Please meet Trulex and Chicho. FNC experience and titles are plenty here. However, a LAN title is still to be secured. The opportunity is rare, but it's here. It's now.
And this is Shari and Giros coming smoking hot out of day number one. Now they're focusing in on today. There's no time to waste. This is it for them.
Make some noise for Bobby and Larpex. First Asian team to make it to the grand finals, but they are not done yet. The trophy is within their grasp.
Pars in Baka, everyone. With a solid performance in the upper bracket, these guys have to be ready now more than ever to take it on in the grand finals.
Here we have him, Ashedes and Striker. Brazil is not to be messed around with. These guys are here to prove they can challenge everyone on the international stage.
Foil instincts are not to be messed with, taking home a victory royale in the upper bracket. They are now here to show if they can do it again. Pressure is on.
Give it up for Queasy and Benno! Today's menu says comeback. Second in the Invitational, second in the upper bracket, but now it is time for a first place finish.
And here we have Kemi and Seti. These guys are used to lifting trophies this weekend. They are looking to add another one to the collection. Of all the duos here, we could say they have the most pressure.
This is getting real. Every single wave, man. A duel we wanted to highlight here from OCE, Alex and Worthy Levin. we kind of have been talking about this every time we've seen them. Worthy, a phenomenal player. Then you pair him with someone like Alex, who OCE as a whole are just like, this is our guy. I can't wait to see how they perform.
I am so excited about this duo, right? You know, it's rare we get to see some of the smaller regions step up the way they did in the upper bracket finals. 6th place is no shabby feat at all. And personally, when you look at their play styles, Alex, man, one of the most electrifying players there is in Fortnite. When he turns it on, when he decides he wants to get an LM, he's getting an LM.
Top 25 in every single game on day number 1. Can they do it again and represent OCE?
Absolutely. Arena, make some noise. Let this last wave of players hear you. Let's meet them.
Double odds, Re and Rituals are in the house. NA is their home turf, but after upper bracket, Denmark certainly looks comfy for them as well. Can they keep up the pace?
Don't blink, we have Hen and Bosque from last chance major to the lower bracket and then to the grand finals. Now they are here where they belong. All they have to do is seal it up.
Age doesn't matter for Moneymaker and for Nyan. Young and talented are key words for these guys, and now they're here to give it their all.
Vanyak and Carmi, ladies and gentlemen, fighting their way back out of the lower bracket. They are now here to prove themselves worthy as a grand finals team.
Put your hands together for Duke and Edgy with an NA Major 2 title in the books and a massive clutch on the day too. It's time to add another one. Tonight is that chance.
Here we have, straight out of Asia, Shalom and MK Papa. This team right here has popped off, making their region proud, but they need to continue to make their mark.
Welcome Kaizen and Clement. Making it to the Global Championship Grand Finals is an achievement in itself. However, there is still plenty up for grabs for this team.
Let's hear it for Scented and Polarized. All of the FNCS experience has been put to use. It's now or never for these guys, and here they are to show it.
This is Kanata and Agers dominating the NA region and now ready to dominate Denmark. Eyes are on the prize for these guys.
Last but not least, Denmark makes some noise for Malabuka, Thomas HD. They are holding the fans high, and they're missing only one thing. That's an FNCS title. Copenhagen, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all are losing your minds.
You guys are in the same place as we are. We want to see games. We are so close, but man, this feels so good. There's so much electricity in the air. We saw them start first. Reet and Ritual out of NA. We've seen them perform well. What can they do here?
We've been talking a lot about how everybody has been placing in some of these games. Well, what about the eliminations? On day number 1, both of them, a part of this duo, finished in the top 10 for individual eliminations, 10 and 11 respectively, for a combined total of 21.
They were popping off, right? And that's the kind of thing, especially when, you know, we want to see controller players represented. You know, he's a controller player. For the throwback on for that one every day. But look, I think when it comes to how they play in this server, they need to stick to what was working with them. Be aggressive as possible when you can.
That's right, guys. I'm getting word we are so close. So let's kick it on up to Jacob PR and MDF to keep this moving.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Let's keep this show on the road. I'm so excited here. It's game 1 in just a few moments. The expectations are through the roof.
That's right, and you already know it's going to be explosive. So as we start to gear up now, let us do it, because game 1 is ready. Game number 1 The grand finals is upon us. We already know what is in store. Nothing but explosive action and early game congestion.
Yeah, we got a couple of off-spawn fights we've seen before. We got even more than that today for the first time. And I think the crowd already knows which ones they want to see right out of the gate. It's only a matter of time before these players actually drop down on this map. And there goes the first one. The crowd, everybody's been waiting for this one. The rematch, Thomas and Malabuka versus Kanata and Agers.
Kanata said it. He has the best drop. He's always going to touch first, and they do just that. But Thomas HD does have a weapon as well. Kanata has a side angle here onto Thomas HD, and he draws the first tags. It's a trade, but he gets the full finish, and he won't get healed. And now, Kanata and Agers are on top, game number 1.
We've already seen what they can do with the freedom of their drop spot. First place throughout the day, but they ended up in second. They're looking to mimic that type of play. Cammy and Seti, even though they might have been contested to start day number 1, they were able to pull through. They pushed that team away, and now they have claimed Frenzy Fields as their own.
What an incredible set of eliminations over at the racetrack. But look, Seti and Cammy have to as well. Who would have thought they would have been contested here on the drop? So the Frenzy Fields is not safe at all.
This is a little bit of that replay. That's Datus and Stain, and a monster shot already coming out from Seti. He finishes that one. On the other side of things, you've got to imagine Cammy chased them down. A huge start for our European powerhouse.
And vamos for Kitos and PH Zin also sitting at 2 eliminations here. That means the Shady being fully contested. They win their off-spawn fight. What a grand finals this is. Already multiple teams going head-to-head. It's Sphinx with the clutch up on Cammy and Carmi and Vanyak there.
That is huge. Sphinx gets both of those eliminations. Even though Poyo did go down, he has a chance to bring him back. But in the minimap, you already see 2 hungry teams looking at that direction. That's third-party opportunities. One of them is going to be Reet. The other one is going to be Rituals. All over the map, these teams are going to hear these fights, Monster, and they're going to try to third-party as fast as they can. They know Surge, it's hard to come by in lobbies just like this.
This is the fastest we have seen 14 players go down of any game we've watched over this entire weekend. Who would have thought this would be the most explosive time? Let's go take a look at some eliminations here. PH Zin took on Axe Force and Robot from down low. The angles were so good, and this is how they converted.
Been a little game of hide and seek with Roban. Axe Force trying to do the same thing, but he's just getting spotted out from all angles. PH Zin looking like a Christmas tree ornament at the top, and he definitely uncovered his presence, and that's 8 points.
This eye drop, but hold up, hold that thought. We have Podesai, we have Snazy already finding an elimination here. They're just gonna hold on to the down body, and we already know what they want to do. They want to keep this body up and healthy to try to farm as much Surge as possible. That's the way you play it. MA Podesai, MA Snazy have worked so hard to get here. We saw the difficult hurdle that they have to overcome just to get here.
Yeah, I think they're looking for some barrels, anything that they can use to try to keep them alive. We've already seen this strategy on day 1, thanks to Zagu and Pepoclip. It was mimicked in day 2, and this is why you know teams know that Surge is going to be a hard thing. They're med-misting the down body. They're doing everything they can just to give themselves a little bit of an edge early on in this game. Even using the kinetic box. Every single tool in their tool belt is coming out early.
Hey, listen, we know that pro players keep strategies hidden, but my gosh, everyone is putting this to use, and we have to honestly give all credits to Peppo, Clip, and Zagu for revealing it early, but I think they put this strat on the map.
Yeah. He's here. The French go very loud in the building. They like that strategy as well. And this is a fight I feel like we haven't talked too much about. Peterbot and Byla versus Bugha and Threads over towards Sanguine Sweets. In theory, it's so big, you can split this drop. There is a ton of loot, almost 100 chests, maybe a little bit fewer than that, but that allows for both of these teams to play the way that they want. One of them has already captured that vault. It's got to be Peterbot and Byla. So Bugha and Threads, instead of contesting it, they're just trying to farm up. They're just trying to get their loadout set and ready so they can make their first rotation when the zone begins to pull.
Let's not forget, Peterbot did used to play with Bugha as well, you know, so there is some history there as they're going head-to-head, but Kaizen, Clement right now looking pretty solid here, just trying to get their rotation down. Pack team right on their heels. Meanwhile, Teeny potentially up against Thoric. out there in the feed. We get to jump on over to Sentin and Polarized versus the youngins here. Fanyajin, Moneymaker's by himself. What can he do here?
Yeah, it was in Game 5 where Moneymaker and F9 were able to qualify for this stage itself. Sentin and Polarized did it by brute forcing their way through with already one knock. It's a 2v1 situation. They're just trying to regain as much real estate as possible. All those pieces are theirs, and Moneymaker's doing what he can to bob and weave in and out of these covers, but his back is up against the wall. He's getting trapped little by little. The first elimination is going to be cleaned up, and they finally get the second. Moneymaker goes down. Polarized and Sentin make a statement at their drop.
Explosive, quick, easy, and trapped, put down. Well played for Sentin and Polarized there. They're going to be happy about that. Threats lingering everywhere, though. How is this still happening? There are more fights happening. It's Muzz and Paper. This time, onto the Brazilian duo.
Muzz, a duo region champion from both OCE and NA, teaming up with Paper. Paper's probably a very, very aggressive player. He knows how to play smart as well. Just a full-on balanced play style. They switched up their drop spot from Breakwater Bay. They wanted to be uncontested, but quickly find themselves in yet another fight. But you see all these teams in the minimap. They're converging on their location because they want to try to get that free surge of what they think it is.
No one wants to fall behind, but now we get to look at Teeny and Misha jumping inside. This is how Thoric was taken down there. Thoric and Bolts have a difficult task in front of them now that they have Misha and Teeny. And that's the first time we've actually seen them find early success. They were contested in those other brackets, as we saw throughout the weekend.
Yeah, in upper bracket 1, they went ahead towards the north side of the map. They tried to go against Baka and Pars. They got pushed off, and then they went into their bag of tricks. They did exactly what they did to qualify up until this point, and those tricks will continue. And how long has it been, Monster? A couple of minutes already, and they're still farming that surge onto Striker. These guys are setting the bar high when it comes to Storm Surge. There's going to be very few teams that will be able to keep up with them if they keep at this pace.
Yeah, they're trying to get themselves well and far ahead of the competition. It's an excellent strategy, and it's hard to replicate. You have to put yourself in that position. Notice how far they had to rotate just to get there as well. So positioning for that, setting up for that is no easy feat. You have to respect it, but this is high-level Fortnite. Here we go, though. Burst Dash, Tayson. Big fight here. Chicho and Trulex on the other side of the Slappy Shores. Already, we're going to need a move here shortly, but Metal got to cap out first.
Yeah, and this was another drop, or at least the south side of Slappy that was contested. Trulex and Chicho versus Quanti and TK. Either Quanti and TK rotated out fast, or they got dropped off very, very quickly by Trulex and Chicho. Find out about that later, but Acorn and Cold, probably one of the most dominating performance in the upper bracket. In the international stage, for all that matter, they're looking to try to continue that run, but right out of the gates, we knew they were contested by both Pink and Vico, and it looks like both of these teams might have decided to split the drop. It's only game 1 of 6, so that could change very, very quickly, but they're trying to feel this lobby out. It's a much different set of players than they faced in that upper bracket.
Extremely proud of what Team Dignitas and Agent have been able to put together with their rosters. The performances are amazing, and again, grand finals, of course, is what matters most. We'll see where everyone ends up, but Flixie, Gripey here, seem to have been getting into a little bit of a hustle, a little bit of a fight here against our favorite Mr. Savage and Vadil. Vadil is one of the most dangerous when it comes down to toe-to-toe battles and defending in situations like this, but there's nothing you can do against two of the best. Flixie, Gripey, they closed it out.
Yeah, and they've been battling it out almost all year long, from major qualifiers to major grand finals. Flixie and Gripey, you know what? I think they're a little underrated at this point. I think everybody who qualified for this lobby is dangerous. They need to be able to come out on top in a lot of these exchanges, and you cannot overrate any of your opponents at any stage of this game.
There's two regions I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe in an early box fight with. It's anyone from the previous NA West, now, of course, NA, but also EU players, and unfortunately, that's exactly who were the ones asking those questions. Pixie and Cheatin', however, though, are going to fend off several pair of EU ones themselves. This is match 1 of the grand finals. Things are already heating up. 81 players remaining in the lobby, and Pixie gets punished.
That's a huge amount of damage. Both of them getting dropped down low. Luckily for them, they do have the med miss at the very minimum, so they can get themselves up to tip-top shape. Mixon and Baja are the ones dealing a lot of that damage. They have the early game high ground, and they're willing to stay in Storm a little bit, even though they don't have any HP heals, because they realize how hard it is for Surge. You can find bandages, you can find berries, you can find a leftover med kit, but it's that Storm Surge that you're not going to be able to find for free.
They're very behind on material, so we'll see if they can bounce back. Duke and Edgy, what a performance we saw, arguably stealing away a moment of the weekend. The clutch from them, honestly solidifying their position, their placement here amongst the best. What are they going to be capable of here this weekend?
Duke. That clutch was just absolutely insane, and how hyped, how supportive Edgy was as well. Just shows the chemistry between these two and why they are an NA FNCS champion, why they are playing in a lobby just like this. A lot of the players here know how to win in their region. It's the international stage that takes just a little bit more effort. Kaizen and Clement quickly trying to rotate. They're one of the teams. They just don't want to get stuck too far out in the zone. And I think if any of these 2 days have shown you anything, is you don't want to get stuck behind the rest of the lobby when they're trying to hold you out. It forces you to waste your heals. It forces you to waste all of your resources just to make it into the zone very, very early on.
Super proud of Worthy and Alex, again, representing for OCE, the only team and duo from the OCE region to make it to the finals stage here, and they already have an elimination, something to be extremely proud of. They're on the move here. Gonna get dead center zone 3 right now. They've scored 30+ points in every match coming out of day one, and day one, by the way, was the most difficult of the 2 brackets.
Yeah, and kind of shows how impressive it is, because Kanata and Agers did the same thing. They got second, and I believe Alex and Worthy were somewhere like 6, at least into the top 7. Reason and Yanis here over towards Breakwater Bay, and they've been traveling a lot. What they're trying to do here is they're trying to go to the slow side of the zone where the least amount of players will be sitting, trying to hold them out. The only worry that I'm going to have for them is where they're going to get their surge from. Have they got enough with those 2 eliminations already? Because as we know, those off-spawn battles, they don't give very much Storm Surge compared to what you're going to get through the mid and that late game.
Giannis picking up the steady hands augment there as well, just waiting to really decide what direction he's going to take his augments in. You have to also now look to study those decisions moving forwards. But here we have AJS Bobby, AJS Larpex, of course, joining up together here. The Rumble Ruins is their home at the moment. And they're just looking around for surge tags, nothing yet. NA options in the distance. EU options here on the mountain with Vask. What's it going to be? Here comes the Rift Island.
Ooh, this is going to get good. In day one, we didn't see too many teams try to contest it. In day two, it was like a house party on top of Rift Island. Everybody wanted to join, and it does look like Hannah and Vasquez might be the first ones to try to contend it. They did get it in game one of the lower bracket, and that was a huge part of their success very, very early on. They were able to keep up the pace and eventually qualify for our grand finals here today, and they're looking to try to mimic that. And you see there's not very many other players that are going up towards Rift Island, so that might be a free 15 points and very, very valuable slurp juices.
Exactly. For those of you in attendance here, for those of you looking back at this island is worth 15 points if you can secure the objective. It is going to draw in the lot of the players. If you can get 15 points, that is the equivalent of 3 or 4 eliminations worth of points there. So it really can set you very far ahead. This becomes a very interesting time to play the game now for Miro and Cooper, because they have decided they want to fight for it, and they are a very dangerous team when it comes down to them making a decision and sticking to it. They'll commit.
Yep, does look like, though, Vasquez and Hen were able to capture it. They were there first. If there's 2 people going ahead and capturing it, it goes much faster than if it's just a solo. So Cooper and Miro, they're ready for that extra prize, the alternative, the height, the elevation. That way they can get Surge. But Peppo, Cliff, and Zaku in another fight against Rue and Mshari over on the other side, just battling for those pieces. Mshari just sitting high up on that mountain. He's not really worried about his teammate. He trusts him to play safe, and that's a massive amount of trust in a lobby just like this.
I can't believe it. I can't believe he didn't go down there to try to support. He says, hey, man, you have this. Defense comes out of Rue, plays very well, and now they're above this Surge as Mshari is finding tags here in the process, too. Meanwhile, Zagu Peppo, 475 damage above the surge. They are in an excellent position right now. They shouldn't have to move any much further.
Yep, in the feed though, I did see Kanata go down. I saw Mishi go down.
Ooh, here.
Yeah. And that's the battle that they were having. You see Agers is solo against Teeny over on the other side. Steno and Lushi might possibly be looking to take advantage of this opportunity, but that's Acorn and Cole down their sights. They know 23 above the damage threshold. It's enough to not have to worry about Storm Surge actually doing damage, but it's not enough for comfortability. So they're on the hunt for even more, but they're just on the receiving end of so many other players trying to put their hand in the cookie jar.
One of those duos is Acorn and Cold. Agers here, of course, trying to extract revenge now as Kanata was taken out. He still finds himself very comfortably in the safe zone here, so he'll be all right. Even has some extra heals, of course, remaining. It's going to be pretty tough to play this one out. Yes, they have 2 elims. We have to see how Teeny turned that fight around. You have to wonder what went wrong. Kanata caught out, looking for tags and low on HP. Teeny and Misha waste no time finding that one.
Immediately, and they are well above the damage threshold as well, giving themselves a good and early start. But Queasy and Veno, they know how to play almost every facet of the game, early, mid, and late. They made some quick rotations over towards Kenjutsu Crossing, and they're probably one of the most deep teams that land on that side of the map. They're over towards Shattered Slabs now, 193 above the damage threshold, and you can see that they're not necessarily going over towards Rift Island because they know in these next couple of zones, it's going to pull away from Rift Island. So they don't want to get too close, then have to rotate far if it does pull max.
You know what? We haven't seen a zone like this. Hard west, full west, right? Really giving teams on this side an opportunity to have the advantage and start off strong. Momentum is everything. And sometimes all it takes is securing that first game. Teeny goes for the save in the zone here, so Misha will potentially be picked up. Possibly we'll be able to situate and get back into this, but I'm not crossing my fingers here. It's a very difficult thing to bounce back when you start off with nothing.
Yeah, and they're just outside of that Rift Island position where the majority of the lobby already is. So they're just going to have to figure out what they're going to do to rotate, because going straight in is going to cause for some dangerous situations for them to try to survive. So they need to be looking for some heals, so that way they can go the long way around, find some safety, and just simply get into the zone. But Pink and Vico here, you can see the split. We talked about a contested drop, but they actually choose to go their separate ways. They're 225 above the damage threshold, and they're looking safe for now. They're trying to figure out what their rotation is going to be. It is a pretty far rotation, but not too far from some of the other players here in this lobby. The first knock is going to get cleaned up. Steno is there by himself. But you can see they're not getting greedy. They're not just trying to bulldoze for it and try to grab that loot. They're just saying, hey, let's just grab the surge. That is going to be enough, but they get a crest on momentarily. That was bold to try to make magic happen, but he goes out like a light.
That's crazy. He tried to time that, and it just backfired completely as another team also started to look inwards, and they pick up a set of eliminations there. What a huge point swing for Pink and Vico there. Meanwhile, in the feed, Peterbot down, Booga down, Trulex. So many exchanges here to catch up on, and the landscape is changing right before our eyes.
Even Pink in the feed getting Steno as well. Him and Lushi look like they probably went down. That was 3 straight eliminations on that side of the map.
Yeah.
Threats being a solo, though. I'm not really worried about Threats being a solo because he clutched up big for their qualification spot. He got a 2nd place. They had 9 eliminations as a duo. But now he has to do it with a surge just hovering over his shoulders.
A lot of players on the move right now. If you look at that right map, all of those arrows flying. Our teams trying to navigate their way to the new zone. You do have to be very cautious. Take a look, though. Rise tries to go in with a hero's play here. Finds Cold, but Acorn is there to back him up. But Rise slips out of there without getting taken down. So he finds Cold and gets right on out.
I feel like that was perfect timing with Acorn trying to plan an escape. And they just bulldoze their way right in. You can see why. Barely being 118 above the damage threshold. At that stage of the game, they were probably below. So they needed to go ahead and pad that stat. Now they have Cammy and Seti in their lines of sights. They don't have to move far. They got the half and half zone. So for them, it's just a sit and wait scenario that allows them to be consistent. But there's so many superstars around him. I already mentioned Cammy and Seti. Queasy and Vino are to their right. So this is a dangerous area of the map to be in. But I think it's a little bit more safer than all those players just to the north outside of zone.
Yeah, looking pretty dicey right now for sure. But if you're a Yam Zone Rise, you're pretty happy that there's not that much going on around you. They can kind of determine who they're going to battle next. Alex and Worthy also comfortably positioned at the safe zone here. Let's jump on over to Seti and Cammy. 2 eliminations so far from the start. Nothing else since then, but we haven't saw problems this time around with the Surge, so they are in a very, very sweet spot here right now. Also, just nestled so nicely here. Look, they can look down on players trying to come out the low ground.
Yeah, so many big names are already out of this lobby, and we haven't even been given placement points just yet, so there's still so much work to do. You can't get behind that curve as Cammy and Seti feeling like they're comfortable in their position for now, waiting for all those players to try to rotate in. MK, Papa, and Shalom looking like they might get a sneak attack onto Podesai and Snazy. They just need to be patient here. They go for the 3-2-1 onto the cover. No shots actually go through to Podesai. That gives them information of where they're located at, so they're going to about face and go a little bit of a different direction now.
Looks like Rapid lost his teammate, Batman Booga, as he's not nearby to the hands of him, Shari, not too long ago. Here's Papa. Here's Shalom, though. Still looking around, playing the bush. Very nicely done. Everyone else is nestled pretty far off, so we get to jump in with Vino and Queasy, see how they are doing. A little update, a single elimination, so not really turning online too far yet. As far as the overall heal situation, I'd say they're middling in the pack. Material count-wise, is it enough for them to play for high ground? I think yes, and they're probably thinking we should go for it.
Yeah, they're probably just gathering all the information around the map for now. Figure out what's the best position, who's already on height, how do we chop them down and make it our own. We've seen that happen to start our tournament on Friday. They grabbed high ground, they looked down and never looked back as they took the game. They actually qualified off that game, 93 points when 91 was the threshold. They kept playing out because it's all about bragging rights, proving that they are the best, just like Iamzo and Rise. And they quickly move to the front side of the zone, so that way when it does begin to move, they secure their spot and they look back and try to hold anybody out and get eliminations.
Well, they're here early, and now they can start to determine what they're going to do. Everyone's on the move here once again. Rocket Rams coming into full effect. Meanwhile, on high ground, Cammy, Seti trying to be the first to set up. The base is wide, the base is strong, and they get the first dibs already. There are other teams cranking up, though. They don't want to just give them all this elevation for free. And the fact that they're committing with Meadow does mean they will have a problem. Meanwhile, Acorn does fall, so Acorn and Cold now taken out of this game. Chicho left by himself to play this one out as a solo as well. Those were his last remaining builds.
He's trying to do it by himself. He's trying to play patiently, waiting for anybody to run past him, not knowing that he's there. Try to hit a little bit of a peekaboo. And that's going to be a massive refresh, because not only is it hoping it gets the Siphon mats, it gets the Siphon itself to get his heals up. And that's going to be big. Duke by himself, though, on the other side. Which, honestly, I don't have too much of a worry. We saw a 1v2 clutch from Duke yesterday. We know anything is possible here this weekend. And now placement points are finally beginning to set in. It is very few for now, but there's still more to come if you can survive.
That was an excellent time to update the standings, updating in real time right now. So from here on out, as teams fall, placement points will be rewarded. It is really about surviving this gauntlet of action to come right now. The Surge is equally active. Worthy's going to find the solo M. Shari. Big pickup for him. And Flixie and Gripey leading here with 5 eliminations now. Front side of the zone, team gets right in front of him. He tries to see for the box up, but no. It's more important to stay safe right now. Look at the rotates here. You love to see it. Excellently done. And Flixie and Gripey are really playing well right now.
Yeah, sacrificing some HP. That way they can go to the front side. The high ground battle's going to begin. Cammy and Seti, Vino and Queasy with the bounce pad. The fadeaway shot unsuccessful from Queasy and Vino. So the kings of the FNCS Invitational are still on the high ground for now, as Cammy's looking to come crashing down. He's built a little bit of a tower, so he doesn't go too far. So all the battles being forced lower and lower, down in the mud. Duke trying to fight with his back up against the wall by himself. Multiple duos beginning to surround and hound him. Top 17, though. All these points as a solo are massive for their run here in this competition.
This is a battle for ego, undoubtedly. Duke looking to see what he can set up. Turns around, breaks everyone off. Fight.
Down goes Cammy.
And down comes Cammy. And then he's looking to target him. Duke is the destruction here in the lobby by himself. with the knock. What a beautifully timed landing spot there. But Cooper, hot on his heels here next door. They know he's here. Miro comes in. They're trying to hunt him out, but he's off to the races. Finds Pixie. Big tag. You know Duke wants to finish this one. Can he get it? In he goes. It's only going to take a single tag. He's under the ramp. Goes for it. He gets it there. Nicely done.
Takes out Cammy, takes out the next one as well. The list of eliminations keeps on climbing before he finally falls. Into the top 10 we go, with Flixie also a solo in this game. There's 4 total solos still left alive, no builds. He's trying to make a play, but from the outside of the zone, he goes down.
It's Mappy, it's eye drop on high ground. Take a look, Ree is still alive. Seti is still alive. Playing the backside of zone, excellently done here. But the high ground comes down a little early. He has a true chance. Seti brings him down, and now he is the one on top. Can he clutch this out by himself against all odds? We thought it was over, but Ree has other words for everyone in the lobby.
He goes down into that top 4 we go. The only solo left alive, well, you saw him moments ago. It is going to be Seti. Cooper and Miro almost won a game yesterday. It was stolen away by both Bryce and Chubbs. Now they're going for some toe tags on Apoyo and Spheaks. NA counterparts going at it. I drop on the other side, but he gets taken down by the NA duo. Huge shot by Miro, trying to go back-to-back, but they fall down the mountain. That's going to allow for Apoyo to survive momentarily, but Cooper hot on the chase. He sacrifices himself to go for the elimination. Seti out of nowhere. Final 2 teams. Miro's trying to stay alive, but there's one duo still left alive, but it's actually a knock. Miro versus Sphinx. NA versus NA to take game number 1.
Incredible that NA will secure this here, but talk about the turn of events here. Miro taking down Seti, putting his name in the conversation. People forget what Miro is capable of, but now it's a 1v1. Old blood versus the new. Basically, Miro showing, hey, I'm the big dog of the region. Sphinx says, I want to prove that I can do it. We already know he's got the mouth in him, but can he put the bullets where they need to go?
He needs to put some respect on his name. Miro running out of builds. That's his last chance. He falls all the way down. Miro goes out. That is Poyo and Sphinx. That is their second victory royale on the weekend.
What an excellent job there. We already saw them take a win in the upper bracket to even bring them this far into this stage, and now they are proving that they can do it on the biggest stage against the best.
That's going to be it from us, though, because I want to hear what they have to say about being the only team with 2 wins on the weekend.
Boys, you proved you can get a victory royale on LAN in the upper bracket, and now you proved you can get a victory royale in the grand final. Talk to me about those last moments in game. Did you manage to talk less?
I would say so, a little bit less. I think my comms were more clear.
I mean, you were having to come for yourself in that 1v1. How did you manage knowing someone was above you on the high ground?
You know, I just have the best awareness at this LAN right now, so like obviously I know there's a man above me, you know. I'm just like that.
But what are you thinking though? Because he can jump on you at any time.
I'm thinking I think like 25 builds about, and I'm, you know, I'm best fighter, best piecer, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go up 200 pump. That's what I did.
And you waited, and then he fell down and he did the job for you. Poyo, what was it like starting out today with this man?
I was dead. I didn't really do much that game, so he actually went crazy there.
And you let him just talk his way through it. You didn't give him any advice or guidance.
Nah, I just told him his mats and he did the rest.
Now, going forward, you've got to try and maintain this consistency. You've managed to get your way through an aggressive lobby, but can you see yourself managing to top the competition again?
Yeah, we just need to live off spawn. I think we can do good at literally every game.
All right, well, good luck in those off-spawn battles, boys. Congratulations. Everyone give it up for Sphinx and Poyo!
Poyo and Sphinx looking to set the tone on the day. If there's anything I learned from game number 1, these next couple games are going to be chaos.
I mean, that game was pretty much everything that we wanted, right? We saw the matchups happen towards that end game that we really wanted to see, but it was the clutches, right? We always talk about being on the global stage. It requires you to go ahead and clutch up when it requires, and honestly, Sphinx right here, this shot on the Cooper, this was the one that sealed the deal.
Yeah, that changed the tempo of the end game completely. From that moment onwards, it's like he said, he's just like that, you know? He's going to go through and win the whole thing. And I mean, it wasn't an easy finish, right? They were going back and forth a bit. It was only the materials that was able to let Miro down, and Sphinx was just had a bit more left in the tank. Even though, actually, you can see he had none. He just was playing around with the stairs, and it wins him the game as well. of course, again, a team that has already shown they can win on this stage, and they do it once again.
Just being able to stay calm, cool, and collect in that situation. Many duos would look at their material count, what they have in the tank, and just go, this is it. Let's start Hail Marrying. I don't know anymore. But Sphinx just said, no. I've been in Grands before. I've been in these types of situations. Take a step back. We know they're up top. Let's break those builds. Let's bring them down. And unfortunately, Cooper and Miro did fall, but still a second place for them. I mean, starting the day with 84 points, that's pretty good.
That's not bad at all. But look, Spoyo and Sphinx up above 89. I know their parents are out here to support them as well. When I actually flew into Copenhagen for this event, I was in the airport with Poyo's dad, and he was like, good luck to everyone, but my son's going to win. I want my son to win, a supportive parent, as you always love to see. And right now, I'm sure he will be beaming from ear to ear to see his son sitting in first place.
Absolutely incredible game number one. But listen, we got to talk about some of those higher profile duos. Of course, Cammy and Seti coming in third place. The All-Spawn wasn't what we expected.
I mean, it wasn't, right? But they did so well, right? We tuned into them. We see them with two limbs, and I think everybody sort of knew what that meant. We weren't expecting Datus and Stain to contest them. They had said they were going to land somewhere else on it, right? But clearly a misdirect to try and fake them out. But Cammy and Seti were prepared. And in that endgame, Seti survived as a solo for so long.
Which is very uncharacteristic for this duo. Actually, usually most of their points, a high percentage of them actually come from when they are a duo alive, right? Usually their points fall off whenever there's a solo clutch opportunity, but Seti's showing up.
Yeah, you don't associate either of them, as great of players they are, you don't associate either of them with mega solo clutches, right? You look at some of the other elite EU names, a lot of them, you think of them and you think solo clutches. Thomas Malabuka, right? You know, Venno, even Queasy, you know, these guys you expect to solo clutch. Cammy and Seti showing us right now, yeah, if one of them's a solo in these games, they will step up.
And I think for them, like obviously Seti's a little disappointed there. He wanted to take it farther. But ending as a solo in this situation, on this stage, and ending third place, my bad, Seti. I mean, I know you're king of consistency and stuff, so if you just do that a couple more times, I mean, we are in for the running. Queasy and Venno as well performing. I thought it was interesting. Like, I love seeing how all of these players in the lobby kind of act. We saw there in the mid game, Seti, Cammy on the high ground, Queasy, Venno on the front side of zone. So all these duos are just looking for those windows, right?
Yeah, for sure. And in this end game, with all these duos here, I do want to give a big shout out to Dukes, man, because that was going ballistic, right? He wanted to put an end to everybody's game that he could as a solo as well, right? So a bunch of really sick solo clashes. Oh, that's painful. I didn't realize that's how Queasy went down there. The 4 damage getting everybody so far in game 1.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, that was pretty much the head-to-head battle that we wanted to see on the high ground. Honestly, though, Cammy and Seti picked up more points for that. But Zeke, I was really impressed with Cooper and Mira. I feel like some of those IGL late-game calls were really good.
Yeah, super crispy stuff. And, I mean, when you think about their performance just this weekend alone, I mean, this is starting to look real good, right? I still think there is quite a bit of first-game jitters, right? Even coming from upper and lower bracket. The stakes were maybe a little bit different. Right now, you're saying, okay, we have 6 games to show up. The stadium is packed. Every single elimination that happens on that feed, the crowd is going crazy. That seems to be playing a bit of a factor right now. And so I feel like the players that can kind of hold on will kind of make it farther.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all about, you know, soaking it all in. You really got to use the crowd to your advantage, right? Kind of play off of that. But then in those key moments, you really got to be good at blocking them out as well.
I mean, one person that got to hear the crowd more than anybody else throughout that game would have been Thomas HD and Malabuka, right? You know, they went down Osborne. That was the first fight we saw, right? Up against Canard and Aegis. They went down not the way you want to start the competition, right? You want to get into the swing of things, especially with all the cheers Thomas and them were getting coming into things. Again, when you go back into that Osborne fight the next time round, how do you now come into it mentally? You don't want to have to sit there and watch the whole game all over again.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight very quickly just a couple of these strategies where we've been talking about these secret pocket strats. Portisai, Snazy coming out with the, let's go ahead and take the kinetic rock all the way across the map. Let's take this body. Let's get Surge. Absolutely crazy. I do want to talk more about this, but I'm getting word. We are ready to get back into the action. We have game number 2 upon us. So, casters, on over to you.
Games. That's all we want this weekend is more games. And that first one, Monster, that was so exciting to really start off the day.
It was perfect. EU versus NA, and the big names really showing up. We saw the rivalry for high ground, so already the early story starting to begin. But most importantly, 14 elims off the early game. Let's see it here for game number 2.
We're in it We're here to win it all. A huge early game that was won by both Pollo and Sphinx, and they carried it all the way to the end. I said they were the first team to get to this weekend. Will they be the first team to go back-to-back and get their third victory royale on the weekend? Only time will tell for that one. But the rematch, probably everybody here in the arena wants to see. Thomas, Malabuka, Kanata, Agers, let's get it.
Let's watch it. Sphinx is going to be able to watch in the distance there, too. So who's going to be the first to touch down? Who's going to be the first to land? Shots coming in this time. It's Malabuka who gets tagged. So does Agers. So both sides already. And Malabuka gets a weapon. He finds Agers with a huge tag. Kanata's already down. And they're finished. They're done.
That was a huge start for Malabuka. Gets that Havoc suppressed and immediately goes to work. And it was him. It was actually him who was getting tagged out of the sky. I thought that was going to be a huge advantage for Kanata and Agers. They weren't able to clean that one up. We saw the contested fight in the replay. The first game, Cammy and Seti get pushed off the actual barn. So it is going to start as a little bit of a split drop here over towards Frenzy Fields.
It really shows us that they were caught off guard game one for the 50-50. Here's TK, here's Quanti over at the Slappy Shores. They are also contested down in this area by Tayson. And you can see that they just barely got away with it. Actually, it was Chicho and Trulex as well. Remember, there's like about 3 teams here, actually. Slappy Shores is just not big enough.
Everybody's trying to go to the beach someday. But for now, the actual south side of Slappy's going to go to TK and Quanti. They have access to that vault. It isn't the most massive vault with Mythics, but you still are able to get a ton of loot. And Misha and Teeny doing it again. They switch up their drop spot once more. They go on over to where Baka and Pars is at. And they're going to go ahead and sneak. They haven't really looted up at all. Will Baka and Pars take the bait?
This is a very interesting position to be in, of course, because you have the chest here as a potential option. So you have to think about it. Anything can happen here.
I feel like everybody at this stage in the game has been conditioned to know this is a viable strategy. Because like I said, in the lower bracket, in the upper bracket, they were contesting Baka and Pars. Didn't work out for them. They switched up their strategy. They started doing exactly this, playing roulette with their drop spots to try to sneak up on some teams. And that inevitably was what got them across the finish line. And it's only a matter of time before Baka and Pars go in this direction. So no matter what the result will be.
And this is what we talk about, teams hiding strategies, teams really sitting back and thinking about, okay, what haven't we tried yet in the upper bracket and lower bracket that we're sitting on, that we're waiting on, that we can then put into play to give us the advantage on Championship Sunday.
They have some sorts of feeling. See them hopping over the covers. They know they're around here somewhere. They probably already seen them drop just a little bit. But the bait has been taken. Down goes one of them. Misha and Teeny strike yet again. Now Pars is stuck by himself. And immediately you see him creating distance between him and his counterparts. He doesn't want to be the next one on their hit list.
And we don't want to be the ones to give away the edge. So to keep it low, to keep quiet there, was a tough one, but take a look at that. Misha and Teeny, 2 games in a row. Surprise, surprise. They have made so much adjustment from the upper bracket to today. It really has shown so far in the last 2 games, but now Teeny has to still close this out with Misha.
Yeah, they went from 2 builds to 53, thanks to Baka and that elimination. Pars is trying to fight with his back up against the wall. Shots also coming in from the third party. Everything comes crashing down. But Pars is still able to put up a good defense for now. Matini's hot on his heels. First shot's gonna be landed. Pars goes down to the low ground, and the 2v1 has been secured. Misha and Teeny strike first.
What a play. What an ambush set up there. Definitely highlight worthy. Meanwhile, we jump in with Vico, Pink. Their draw spot split by Acorn and Cold. You can see that they have lost a fair amount of the advantage of the general area, but it hasn't affected them that much. They have still maintained a very, again, more or less successful setup. In the feed, I saw that Cold might have picked up Scented there, so already down south, some action going on right now. Acorn and Cold here looking very much solid as they're going against Polarized. Polarized by himself, getting pieced up, boxed up, now forced onto the back foot here. This is a favorite here. Cold does get punished, but He's got his teammate here to back him up.
Yeah, trade in shots, bait and switch. Acorn's trying to alleviate some of that pressure, but Polarized keeps trying to break his way into the box, but he gets denied entry more than once. Now Acorn's simply going to try to hold the covers, peek through, try to figure out where Polarized is at. Give Cold time to heal up. Zip line, that one's going to be noticeable. Now Acorn has to make the decision. Do I just go straight up into him? Do I continue to play my game out? And I saw third-party shots coming in. He hits it. He goes right back up. Zip line once more. Polarized goes down, but it's not the team you thought. Cooper steals that one away.
Man, that's the worst feeling right there. You put in all that work, all that damage, and 4 points slip away. Meanwhile, Poda, Sai, and Snazy, the M8 boys, are back at it again. Oh no, but they couldn't save Striker this time, so lost damage, but the strategy was still there. The idea still potent.
They've been performing so well this weekend. 90% has to be them, 10% has to be the crowd on their side, fueling them. Anytime they feel like their gas tank is empty, you see a loud cheer from the crowd, and that's a little bit of a refresh in its own mind. But with 1 elimination, they get their surge plan started over towards Shattered Slabs. There's at least one team towards the north side. But we got a surprise, we got a treat, we got a little bit of a listen-in of an off-spawn battle.
Wait, what are they?
Hey, take guns on left, take guns on left.
Yeah, I got these guns.
6 white, 9 white, other one. 6 white.
Good job, mate. Good job.
Big set of eliminations right there. You can hear the comms clear and concise. But for a second there, they didn't know where they actually were.
Yeah.
That's how tough a 50-50 can actually be. Slight, bus route deviation all of a sudden, you're coming in from different angles.
Yeah. That's one thing is they have the best drop when everyone's going for the same weapon. Luca's the one out, which forced Kanata and Aegis elsewhere, but our game one victors, Poyo and Sphinx, who probably got a front row seat for that battle. You saw them flying through the sky when that contestation was happening. They looted up, and I gotta say their loot is looking pretty impressive. 8 slap splashes, 3 big pots, and that's just on Poyo alone. They got a free rotation to where they want to go. You see some shots coming in, a little bit of a warning shot at that. Cammy and Seti contested over towards Frenzy. They won it in game 1, they choose to split it in this next game. And they're going all the way over towards the western side as somebody gets beamed from afar. That's just helping their surge plan all together. But they're just trying to rotate to where they think it's going to go, to where the least amount of teams will try to huddle up.
Meanwhile, Noxy in a fight right now. Chris severely damaged in this battle here, but does manage to find stable ground here. This is going to be a tough one to close out if they allow Asa to bounce back. It does seem like he's got a chance to do so.
Even though he is by himself, we've seen so many teams and players make magic happen. They got to question themselves, is it worth going ahead and pushing forward? You continue the game plan, which you set out up into this point. The zone for now has pulled over towards the western side with a little bit of a north lean. And that's why you see a lot of these teams hovering over towards Shattered Slabs or in this vicinity altogether. And you can see, this is actually pretty unique. You see Kit's Boombo in his inventory. That's something I don't see very many people pick up, but if you have the accuracy, you can do a ton of damage on players nearby.
Definitely one of those things. The option has always been there. Yeah. But yeah, you don't see it come into play. A lot of variety already starting to turn online. We'll see what he's capable of with that. Eom Zone Rise. Pretty strong game 1. Had some late game appearances there. Another western pull here. This time we're going a little bit more north, up towards the Eclipse State. We'll see how this influences the majority of the lobby, but north teams are pretty happy right now.
And this is why you saw early in the game, Cammy and Seti rotating in that direction. The feeling it was going to go on that side is Eom Zone Rise just sitting on top of their normal spots with the castle and the gas station, trying to pad up on Surge, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities from teams trying to rotate from the eastern portion of the map as the zone continues to pull on over towards the west. Cooper, they got that early game Surge, but it isn't going to be much because they did take away that elimination from Acorn Cold, who did the brunt of that damage. So for now, it's just about farming up. Miro's the one that's in charge of trying to get those tags on top of that building.
So impressive. We jump in with Vanyak and Karmi here. Lucy and Seno listening nearby, holding those edits, trying to see if there's a chance to pounce in. Crash pads, but all in all, this is a pretty tough spot to be in. It's going to be difficult to turn this, situation around. It seems like there's been a drawn-out battle, and Lucy and Seno have been on the losing side.
See that already 7 teams down and out. It's not as active as it was in that last game up until this point. But it's definitely very, very close. You see the augments all out. Fast Fisher, glider redeploy, Keymaster, they're able to come around to it. And then that first shotgun. It's going to be huge for a lot of these teams that are able to use that Fast Fisher, because we're going over to some of the water spots on our way over, which instantly fishes. Whether you get a flopper to kind of stagger yourself in the zone, or a slurp fish, or any of the shield fishes to go ahead. You see Booga has one as well. That's instant shields. It's 10 less than a big pot, but it's faster than a big pot altogether.
Definitely important to have those quick heals. Threats on the move right now. They're not happy with being on the outskirts of the zone here. They want to get a little bit more center before other teams start moving in and decide to do so. In the meanwhile, though, they also have to bounce back with some material here. There's a metal reservoir down low, but it's Pollo and Sphinx potentially holding that one out. Meanwhile, Mr. Savage looking to find his footing here. Last game was a tough one. He gets the siphon for Vidil and keeps him in the game. That's Trulex. And now Chicho is hurt. In he goes. Still on the hunt. Nicely done. And Savage and Vidil clap back for the first time today. They have some wind in their sails.
And this is big, because we already seen at least one of the teams in our top 5 go down. That's iDrop and Mappy. And as long as a couple more of those teams at the top of the leaderboard go down, that opens the game up wide open for any of these teams to overtake that spot, since it is very, very early on. Mr. Savage and Vidil showing what they can do out of Naughty Nets, which a lot of people don't necessarily like that spot, but that just goes to show how good they actually are. Not only are they on the low ground, they have to cross a river. There's a couple teams they have to get through, so they're doing everything right up until this point.
Already we've seen our first team inside the top 10 fall, which was Janice and Reason there. Oof. Getting caught on this rotate here, seeming like the west pole wasn't good enough for him. You saw Booga's HP there as we were flying by, very hurt, as they were coming just past Pollo and Sphinx, but Rift Island spawns in beneath Stain and Datus, a team that absolutely needs to make a comeback. What a better way than to find points other than to take the Rift Island for yourself. Will they go for it?
I already see that they captured a weapon cache with the slurp juice in his inventory, throwing a bush directly on top to cloud their space. That way they can fire freely without very many players able to kind of tag them back. And you can see the teamwork. Stain's there to try to break the build. They're timing it right, so that way a sniper shot can try to sneak his way through. This is going to be big, as Batman, Booga, and Rapid are actually going to be the first team on top of Rift Island. And we saw last game, the team that was on top, they were able to capture it because they were the first ones there with nobody really contesting the actual flag. Let's see if that'll change around this time, now that's more than halfway full.
Rapid and Batman Booga are well on their way to securing it here. I think it will be theirs. Pink and Vigo probably have considered it, but when you're just late to the punch, why jump in? Why take that risk? And it does seem like already now 2 for 2 on teams that snatch it up first. But again, the Rift Island is going to be 15-point swing in any direction if you can grab it.
Like you said once before, that's almost 4 eliminations without actually having to put yourself in a risky situation. And what these other teams are doing, even though they're not trying to contest it, one, probably going for scraps as soon as Batman, Booga, and Rapid leave that location. But most importantly, with that added elevation, they're looking for Storm Surge. They can see the entirety of the lobby, and those teams that have to rotate from the south, from the east, that is who they're looking at most of all to try to get the Storm Surge that they need. You can see they have 224. And they're even looking at some of the other teams that are on top of Rift Island as well.
This should very much put Rapid and Batman Booga in the conversation, though.
Yeah.
Rapid, although by himself, he did make some placement last game. Here we jump in with Edgy and Duke so far. 600 above this surge. They're going to be well and fine here. They're positioned very nicely already at the Eclipse Estate, which is near dead center. Do they have the storm line? Do they know where the storm's going? Because this is some prime positioning right here.
Yeah, we got these forecast towers all around the map. It allows you to read where the zone is going, but Duke had 46 solo impact points in match 1. He was just gobbling up those placement points, and you saw him in those type spots getting eliminations as well, especially when he needed it most for both the Siphon and the Mats. Malibuca and Thomas well above the damage threshold. Even though they're falling, they have more than enough surge to where they don't have to worry about it. For them, they're just trying to see where these teams are positioned at to try to make their own rotation in. The zone continues to pull towards the north side of the map, over towards Eclipse Estates. So if it stays there, this one could get dicey because there's some unbreakable walls, there's a surrounding water, there's even the moon there that we saw Cammy and Seti use early on in this tournament.
Clownski grows on the move right now. Already setting up for a nice position here. Looking out for fights, looking out to see if they can find tags. This is going to be a team that, if they don't get active, will surely have something to worry about, but they find more stashed there. Great tags here for Strauss, Grols, and Clownski, and already now they have a chance to go ahead and alleviate some room near them, get back into this game. But no, Grols, you saw yourself for a moment. The punishment comes in. It's Pixie off to the right there, who has made it further this game than the last. Meanwhile, Yamzone Rise potentially taking a fight, but no, they are out. Booga has not been able to secure the health that he lost from getting this far. Oof. Wow.
Down goes Booga. Shows exactly what you're talking about. Without that heals, he's not able to get the HP up, what makes him an easy target through the sky. Now he's a focus that they know the knock's there. This is 4 points that the team is going after. And if they're daring enough to move over, that's loot as well. And you can see Booga handing over some of his resources while he's down. Just trying to pad Threads' material count, making sure that he's able to save him. But look who's knocking on that front door. Trick or treat. In comes Acorn and Cold. And no tricks up their sleeves. All treats as they get those eliminations.
Yeah, they knew they had the knock. They had to finish it right there. They were in the perfect position, and with the zone going south, hey, we got to go this way anyways. It was well timed and executed on their part, and it puts them at 2 eliminations now, very comfortably in the game, and the full refresh to really set yourself up for success. It doesn't get much better than that. Meanwhile, Snazy, Podesai on the move right now. The M8 boys playing deep outside the storm circle here. There had to be something worthwhile, but it looks like it was just a late rotate. A fight in the zone. Gone bad.
Yeah, probably that early game strategy. If they're not able to get that surge off of those players that they do get the knocks, that puts them behind on not only timing, but on materials and resource gathering as well. The time is running out. Podesai needs to be able to get in, but he goes down. Snazy found a little crevice that he can hold on to, and even though he is full of shields, he only has 15 HP. If the lobby begins to target him in this direction, where some of them are going to begin to rotate into, that's going to be a very dangerous situation for him to be in.
What's crazy is Mshari had no shield, so talk about a opportunity revealed to him, and he finds shield just off the elimination. Look, he also did not have any heals. It's just a perfect star aligning moment for Mshari and Rue here. One of, again, the few representing for the ME